What if the most secure place in your city wasn't secure at all? What if someone could slip beneath your feet, bypass every alarm, every sensor, every camera, and steal millions without leaving a single trace behind? Today, we're diving into one of the most astonishing and perfectly executed bank heists in US history. By the end of this video, you'll understand how a small group of thieves dug a secret tunnel under Los Angeles. They broke into a sealed vault and vanished with a fortune. Before we begin, it's important to understand that the story you're about to hear isn't fiction. It's not a screenplay. It's not exaggerated for dramatic effect. This is the real account of the Easter Sunday heist in Sylmar, Los Angeles. A heist still studied today for its planning and precision. Law enforcement still refers to it as one of the most skillful burglaries on American soil. It was a job pulled off when the city was silent, when families were at church or gathered around dinner tables, when no one imagined a group of criminals could be working right beneath them. On March 31st, employees of the Security Pacific National Bank started their day just like any other. But when they approached the vault, something felt off. The vault door looked untouched, closed exactly as they had left it. The security system hadn't been tripped. Every alarm and sensor showed the usual green lights. Nothing suggested trouble. But when they swung open the vault door, the scene inside was pure chaos. Dozens upon dozens of safe deposit boxes were hanging open, their contents missing. The floor was covered in scraps of metal and debris, all signs of a long and methodical effort to break them open. Nearly $8 million worth of cash, gold, diamonds, expensive watches, and priceless family heirlooms had simply vanished. But the most shocking part? The thieves didn't come through the door, or the walls, or even the bank's main entrance. They came from beneath. A perfectly carved tunnel reinforced, ventilated, and leased from a nearby property directly under the bank vault. It was like something out of a Hollywood movie, but this wasn't fiction. This was the result of weeks of underground labor, carried out with such professionalism that investigators later described the tunnel as a masterpiece. The crew behind the job didn't choose the building randomly. They rented a commercial space nearby, posing as ordinary tenants. Behind closed doors, they began digging. They used power tools, reinforced wooden beams, ventilation fans, and lighting systems. They knew how deep to dig, how far to tunnel, and how to avoid hitting water lines and gas pipes. Every foot of earth they removed was hauled back through the property quietly, at night, when no one would notice. As the tunnel grew longer, the risk increased, but so did the precision, as the crew had done extensive research. They understood the bank's layout, the vault's dimensions, and even the concrete thickness beneath it. Using seismic drills and careful measurements, they positioned themselves exactly beneath the vault floor. It was a nearly perfect alignment, something investigators later admitted was astonishingly accurate. When Easter weekend arrived, the thieves knew their moment had come. Holidays meant fewer people around, fewer cars, fewer police patrols, and most importantly, a closed bank with no employees inside. In the dead of night, they crawled through the tunnel, carrying tools, bags, and gear. The final stage of the heist began with drilling through the vault's concrete floor, with dense steel reinforcement and designed to withstand forced entry. But from below, the thieves worked slowly, grinding through layer after layer until they created a hole just big enough to climb through. Once inside the vault, the thieves didn't rush. They didn't panic. They were calm, organized, and methodical. There were no motion sensors inside the vault, no pressure plates, no alarms triggered by movement. They cracked open the safety deposit boxes one after another, stacking the valuables into bags, sorting items by weight and value. It likely took hours, but the thieves worked undisturbed, knowing that no one would walk through the door until long after sunrise. When investigators arrived, they were stunned. The tunnel was so well built that agents described it as something closer to a mining operation than a criminal job. The walls were supported, the pathways straight, the ventilation clean. Someone clearly had professional knowledge of engineering, construction, or both. Soon, a familiar name surfaced: Emil Dincio. A master burglar suspected in multiple large-scale heists across the country. He was known for his careful planning, for hand-picking his team, and for never relying on improvisation. The Easter Sunday heist had all the trademarks of his style. Over time, several members of the crew were identified and eventually arrested. But even with confessions and recovered loot, a significant portion of the stolen valuables worth millions was never seen again. But the case left behind something even more unsettling: the realization that no matter how secure a building seems, there's always another way in. A vault can be reinforced, protected, shielded, and guarded, but the ground beneath it? Most banks never imagined someone would dare approach from below. The Easter Sunday heist has since become a legend in criminal history. A symbol of patience, planning, and precision. A reminder that the biggest weaknesses often hide where no one thinks to look. A haunting example of how a silent neighborhood, a simple rental property, and weeks of underground work can bring down even the strongest security system. If you enjoyed this story, let me know in the comments below what true crime case you would like to hear about next. Or if you're ready for another deep dive into unbelievable real-life crime. Go ahead and click on the next video. I've got another case waiting that you won't want to miss.